Coach, this is Wing from Hong Kong, representing a local sport magazine called AA Sport Connect. Also, and Ryan, they're performing pretty well. And how do you plan to analyze performance in China game and to make adjustment to your game plan for the upcoming seasons and playoff?
Yeah, specifically on Oso and Ryan, these guys are young guys in the league that work incredibly hard. Yeah. I've seen that since day one, since I've arrived in Phoenix. They've been in the gym. They're incredible people, and their development is happening day by day, game by game. So we're not surprised by their development, and we're extremely excited to see where it all goes, in this near future and the long term.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Next question, front row on your right, Coach.
Hi, Coach. SMG Mobile, good afternoon. And my question is about Jalen Green. What about his injury? And last game we saw that you started Booker and Grayson Allen for the backcourt. And is this going to be the starting backup for the regular season?
Yeah, that'll be the starting group tonight. And Jalen won't play tonight. His goal is still the same, just to be ready for opening night.
Next question, front row left.
Hi, Coach. Gautam Warrior from Fadeaway World. Obviously, a great start to the preseason, but the three-pointers are not quite falling for you guys so far. You're at 29%. Are you concerned by that, or is this just a case of the players being a bit rusty?
I think it's all the above. We're just trying to get good looks. It's 2 games in. That's a pretty small sample size. As long as we're taking and getting good shots, I think that's how we're going to evaluate throughout the season. We understand that three-point shooting variability can be all over the place. Some of the best shooting teams last year struggled at times. So as long as we're getting good ones, we'll take those and we'll trust the results.
Next question to your right in the second row.
This morning, Joe Tsai, the owner of the team you're facing against tonight, again, he said that the biggest challenge to develop the sport here in Asia and specifically in China is that parents have a mentality whereas kids, if they encourage them to practice sports seriously, that will deteriorate their academic performance. Obviously, the United States is a completely different reality, but I wanted to ask you as the coach, with the experience that you have, what do you think is the role of the team, your players as role models and as ambassadors for the sports here in Asia and specifically in China?
I think great question. We value playing sports in general, and I think what comes from those events, those experiences, and playing multiple sports, whether it's basketball or another sport, I think that's what we're all seeking even today, even at the highest level, just the joy and the spirit of competition. I think that's how we all grew up. At times that changes over the course of all of our past, but it's something that we talk about with our group very often is finding that joy. And I think that's something that we've, as staff members in Phoenix, even over the last couple of months, we want to protect the environment that these guys come into every day, because we understand everything else that goes on outside of our walls we can't control. We can control exactly what happens in our walls, and we want them to walk in our building feeling like this is the best place for their development. That's what we're all want to do and want to feel when we play sports. So even at the highest level, even at this level, that joy and that spirit of the day-to-day competitiveness, whether it's Phoenix Suns versus Phoenix Suns or Phoenix Suns versus another team, that's what we're looking to get. That's why we all love being in basketball or love being in sports. So I hope that we've been able to do that for these couple months. I think all of us in this position would love to be in that environment every day. And the other day, 2 days ago, we played 53 minutes, got to play some overtime. We could feel the energy of the crowd as we got to the end of the game into overtime because of that joy and that spirit that we all love in competitive sports.
2 more questions. Next one to your left, second row.
Hi, Coach. I'm Mon from basketballnews.com. Just 2 questions. One, you mentioned about the Nets' pressure last game. How do you plan to deal with it in this game? And 2, your two rookies, Kaman and Rashir, the other day. Now for Kobe Brea, what's his status? He looked good in summer league, kind of plays like book, honestly. So what's his status for today's game?
I'll talk about Kobe first. You know, Kobe's in a great place. You know, he's a young player that we have high hopes and high expectations for. He's had a great couple months since summer league and then into training camp. He's going to get his time, and it'll be in the near future, but we have a plan for him. He's right on path, and every day, whether he plays in the game or not, or whether it's in practice, he plays at a high level. I think the pressure that we talked about in game, we kind of got adjusted to as the game went on. It varies, so it's going to vary based on who we have on the floor. You know, I know you've talked about Oso before, like Oso's ability to handle pressure. We'll try that again tonight, and I think that's something that we need to see going forward. These types of teams that pressure this way can also be a pressure release in some of those forms. When Oso's off the floor and we have a different five-man on the floor, it'll be different, but we're definitely going to test out some of that today.
Last question, front row to your right.
Coach, I have a questions about the offense because if you look at the roster of the Suns, you have a lot of players that are good and tough defenders in the league. Dillon Brooks, Ryan Dunn, and Grayson Allen. But often, their playmaking ability may be underrated, especially last night when Devin Booker got double-teamed. A lot of these guys, a lot of these defensive-minded guys step up, took a next step, and started scoring. So do you feel like their playmaking and offensive ability are kind of being underrated just because they're kind of labeled as tough defenders?
So I think oftentimes everyone involved in basketball chooses its offense or defense, and you pick the sides. Like, how can you get the offense better? This is not American football where you can just sub the team out and play a different team. So our goal each night, if our shots aren't falling, is to play better defense. If our defense is struggling, we got to make better plays and more plays offensively. So whatever it takes to win that night, some nights it might be our defense, some nights it might be our offense. So it's a continuous process to get both parts better. And it changes. Like, again, it changes based on our lineup. Who we have on the floor. Is it a better defensive team? On the other team, is that a team that we can attack maybe a little bit more? It's going to be a continuous process. Whoever we have on the floor, just to beat the other team on the other end. So I think our offense will have enough playmaking. I think also brings some of that at that 5 spot. We have multiple guards that we know can make plays, and we're still learning. So we're definitely learning. Our defense is ahead of our offense right now, and it'll be a continuous process throughout the year.
Thank you, Coach.
Good question. Thank you.